The vendor portal we have had, it's been around, but they have really revamped it on our software at Folio. And so it is much more user-friendly for our vendors. And I did a little short YouTube tutorial that we sent to the vendors that explains to them how to use the vendor portal. And so now our vendors, when we send them a work order, do you want to go ahead and take that?
Yeah.
How that flow is?
And I'll even start with, while it's beneficial to our vendors, it really starts with the tenant. When they put that
Right.
work order in, you're given the option to go ahead and select availability dates and times, which, helps the vendor. They're already kind of looking at their calendar, knowing what your availability is. They're giving you a call, they're reaching out. Once they schedule that appointment with the tenant, they're able to mark the work order so we see it on our end as scheduled. Then it allows them to upload an estimate directly to us or mark the work order as completed. So on our end, we know the work order is done. We're not having to reach out to the tenant and follow up. We're not having to hound our vendors. Then, normally within a couple of days, they'll go ahead and attach the invoice directly to that work order. I go in, close it out, make sure they get paid, and it just streamlined that whole process from the beginning to the end.
Yeah, and the really neat thing about it is it's all real time.
Mm-hmm.
So the tenant, like Ashley was saying, they can go ahead and put in, their preferred appointments times, but then the vendor can follow that up and either accept those times or communicate right there with the tenant. We get to see all that communication. They can upload photos of the before and after jobs that they do. And then having that invoice, being able to have that uploaded right away, there's less chance for it to get lost. Vendors like it because they get to get paid faster.
And as Ashley mentioned, they can actually upload their estimates right to the work order, and I can easily go in once a homeowner is ready to approve of it. It can be approved right from that work order, and it sends it to the vendor right away, and it holds the funds. So it just kind of cuts down on those steps a little bit.
Yeah, and I really love the real-time aspect of it.
Absolutely.
Because we all work remotely, and that'll be a subject towards the end. And so when we're not all in the same office, it's not like we're gonna pick up the phone, oh, did so-and-so make it out there today?
Exactly.
Well, let me rephrase that. We have had to pick up the phone and do that, whereas now, because it's real time and the vendors are updating it whenever they leave the property, we can see, exactly what's going on and where we're at with it. And the other beauty of it is if the vendor doesn't accept that work order right away, Ashley reassigns it to another vendor. So we're not sitting there waiting and losing a day or two just in waiting for the processing or waiting for a vendor to accept the work order. So that's been really helpful too.
And I like what Tanya said, if the vendor will just hit the button when they leave, it keeps me from having to send that email that you don't like about what's the status.
Right, yeah, because all you have to do is mark it as completed. There's a place for you to put some notes, and then we know what's going on. Yeah, we don't have to call. Of course, the vendors, they're out there in the field. They don't want to be taking phone calls. So it really does make it a lot easier, and it's not any specific app you have to have on your phone. It works right there through the internet, works on all the phones. So that's been great.